Coming to you live. This is John Baxter with the Baxter Effect podcast. And we cover a lot of different topics, of course. And we are covering topics in regards to this higher advanced health technology. Our comic books have become a reality. We never thought we'd have a cell phone. And health technology today is escalating at a very high level. And today's podcast was and is the body was never broken, but the system is and was in that case. Symptoms aren't failures, they're adaptations. And so when we realize this, that our current model is the system that is broken. And what we offer is a new understanding about how this body, a living organism versus a machine. We realize that a lot of people believe that the body is like a machine and not a living organism that can adapt. Right there is failure number one in the current healthcare system. We're going to delve along these types of topics today. I'm excited to share you this wisdom. This wisdom comes from winning most every major award in health, being somewhat unknown unless you're in certain circles. And we're doing this because we've helped tens of thousands of people can vouch that we saved their lives. And it's nothing more rewarding or remarkable than to do this type of work and to share with you what we do in MedBed. So, the lie that we were all taught, and this is something I put down just to have a discussion point. What if our body never failed us, not even once? We were taught that symptoms meant malfunction, pain meant betrayal, and a diagnosis became our identity. But the body is not a machine. Machines break, microphones break, computers break, cars break. But in all actuality, living systems adapt. That's why the chiropractor adjusts our spine. We may be locked in certain positions, like driving a car, in the same patternized format. We're breaking patterns and molds at a high level. And that's because we're an adaptable living organism. We are not a machine. We do not have screws in our joints. We have mobile joints. And there's a big difference. Fever is intelligence. When we have inflammation and we understand it, we feel it, it's truly protection. Fatigue is conservation. When you're tired, you feel tired. You should relax. And weight gain is a survival buffer. Your body didn't turn against you, it turned for you. So when we talk about these different symptoms, they're not the issue like it is in the current model. The current healthcare model goes after symptoms. But the symptoms are little red flags telling you something's going on. And in the MedBed system, you realize we don't have the same understanding as the human body as the current pharmaceutical machine. The current system of medicine would like to not help you with your symptoms, to push you into a higher, more expensive treatment, per se, a surgery. I know so many people with sciatica, and it's like, I would say a good 90+% of them just need to work on the area of stagnation. They need to work on their hips and work on tight muscular patterns in the body and to release that tension. It's that easy. But what are so many people going for? Surgery. So the body is not a machine, but it needs assistance. You have pain so that you can realize where that pain is, so that you can do something about it. And so, which brings me to my next question here. Another synopsis or another stanza in health. Machines and living systems. A car overheats and an engine fails. A human overheats and the immune system activates. The medical model treats the body as isolated parts with linear cause and effect, but reality is completely different. The body is electrical. This is grounding through frequency medicine. I'm teaching it to you raw. Chemical, fluid, adaptive, and hierarchical. Yeah, we need oxygen every moment so that we can breathe. You shut off our oxygen, it shuts down the whole body. So it's not that we have bad genes or parents. We have bad inputs and we have bad habits and patterns. So we've been told so many times it's your genes. Well, if dad drank and ate McDonald's and the son drank and ate McDonald's and they have the similar DNA, well, their system will break down very similar. But it's been proven time and time again that you can change. You can the system of food pyramid is gone. The new food pyramid, there's going to be a lot less people with diabetes. There's going to be a lot less people with health issues just by following and knowing that the liver creates sugar, glucose, based on oils, fats, and even protein. There's no need for an excessive amount of wheat and sugar in our diet. And so we've been told and force-fed a lie, oh, that it's your genes, don't worry about it. You can identify with that cancer because your diagnosis was cancer. That's you. You're the definition of cancer now. And that model is a fear-based, broken model. So realize what we're here to is to change the paradigm. Change the paradigm in health. Wake you up to the reality that you intrinsically know by just having awareness, by having common sense. And that's what it's about. Why systems are intelligent. This is intelligence, like I just said, awareness, intelligence, and we have bypassed our own self-knowledge to a hierarchical person with a white shirt, with a white vest, that has a degree from a school that was likely only presenting them stuff that would force induce what? A surgery or a prescription medicine. Nothing in these medical journals and books of today are going toward root cause chronic disease issues. Now, if we don't do something, realize by 2030, it's close to something ridiculous. By close to 2030, the aim, the focus of what we work on, it's going to cost the world $40 trillion. The national debt is $32 trillion right now. It's going to cost us $40 trillion by 2030 to take care of our people, to eradicate chronic disease. That includes the food system. That includes the education on what to put in your body. We have so many people on this planet. We have disrupted our food system, our farms, with GMOs and pesticides. Yeah, we are in a serious issue. But the thing is, the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth that shall set you free. And realize what we're doing here today is that we're bringing in this innate intelligence so that we can make our lives better. And why we should look at our symptoms not as the issues, but as the intelligence. Pain is a signal. So it's something that you should realize. Pain is a signal forcing behavioral change. Fatigue means your energy is diverted to survival. Anxiety reflects a nervous system on high alert. Weight gain buffers toxins and stress. Your systems are receipts of environment where you were put in. And think about that. The environment has everything to do with, even now, our gadgets, fake lighting, 5G towers, our computers, our Wi-Fi's, our routers, our 5G towers. Those are our environment. Our food system that's been just destroyed. Those are some terrain environment. You're putting foods that were infected. Last I heard and know is that when we hear something on the news about salmonella, E. coli, did you know they're spraying our foods with these substances? You think you can run away from some of the issues today? When the very people that are telling the food system how to run their food operation with the sprays and the pesticides, they're actually adding new forms of issues like E. coli and salmonella. And then what happens? Those grains get fed to chickens. Chickens have salmonella now. Humans have salmonella and E. coli. It's run rampant. Unless you almost fall victim in death of that, the news is not going to know because they sensationalize it. Oh, someone has E. coli. It's sensational news because they're spraying our vegetables with E. coli. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. But the thing is, it's survival. It's survival, of course, of somewhat of the fittest, the most educated, the most informed have the best chance of survival. We see these people online talk about how they're going to live to 180, but they look like they're going to die next year. So the honest truth is we're all in this together, and whether we live 180 or we don't, or even over 120, you have to follow the reality of things, the frequencies in your body, that this body is electrical. If you don't understand this body is electrical, you'll never live 180 years. You may sensationalize your own news, but the truth is you're just an infomercial. What we're talking about today is truly ending human suffering. And we're replacing a model that says symptoms, that you are a symptom and they are bad, to realizing this body has innate intelligence, that our systems are telling us and our symptoms are telling us where to look, what the real issue is. And so there's 4 major system failures. The energy system is a mitochondrial weakening in your body. The drainage system, which is your lymphatic system, is your lymph and liver congestion. There are communication, like in nerves, communication sensing, and even speaking failures. And a lot of these are hormonal and neurotransmitter misfires. There's terrain failure, one of my favorite. This is internal environment stresses over repair. And this has to do with the food we eat. This is your gut terrain. There's terrain on the land, outside, and there's skin. Our skin is its own terrain. Our esophagus and our digestive system has its own terrain. Our nerves and our nervous system, it's its own terrain. Our cardiovascular system, it's its own terrain. And you should really see the world in our body like this if you ever want to take healing to the next level. Disease never attacks you, it just exists where the conditions allow it. So yeah, this is just some great information. We do have something called a bioscanner, and we take over 50,000 points of data, over 1,300 different types of cells in your body. We take all this data, where your inflammation is, where your bacteria, mold, toxins, fungus, and bacteria hang out, parasites as well. These 5 issues are the result of where chronic disease hangs out. This is what no one wants you to know. Yet it's so simple. You want to go to the root cause of a chronic health disease? Look into those bacteria, mold, fungus, parasites, and toxins. Likely, the issue is your cells are being impaired by one or multiple things in these five categories. And when you look at your system failures, above all, let's get the proper nutrition finally. Let's get the proper sleep. Let's get the proper oxygenation through our equipment that could be enhancing yourself or in the environment. Let's get the proper light. Let there be light. Let's get the proper hydrogen, oxygen, nutritional mix so that our cells can thrive. These are a couple things that are so important, but we have a myopic view of this body. It's so painful, guys, and the thing is if we're ever going to change the world and we're going to change our healthcare system from a sick care system that thinks of symptoms as bad to the innate wisdom that we all already knew. So I have an interesting fact here. So not only in human but dogs. So in around the 1900s, the average person had a higher life expectancy than they do today. In the 1900s, if you were basically among the class of people that could afford food, you could live over 90 years old pretty easily. Even if you had access to food, like a farmer, and you had access to nutritious food, you could easily live over 90. There was a lot of poor and a lot of people that were malnutritious, had malnutrition, and they lived a lot less, but roughly they were living as long as we live today. So what has trillions of dollars, symptom science, what has it done for you lately? Not a lot, because in today's world, people are suffering around the time they're 60 and 70, living with chronic diseases their whole life, paying someone to fix them that's not fixing them truly, because if a pill works, why would you have to take it over 2 weeks? There's no science out there saying you have to take a pill the rest of your life or multiple pills the rest of your life. This is just a very sad sick care system. And to think that it's so advanced, it's not. How can someone in the 1900s live longer than people today? They didn't even have clean water back then. It's staggering, the information we have. Here, and let's talk about our pets. Did you know the average golden retriever in 1920 lived almost twice as long as a golden retriever today? Remember, they said, do not feed your dog table food. Is that the biggest fear ever? Do not feed your dog table food. So in the 1920s, what did they feed their dogs? Table food. How long did the average golden retriever live? 15 to 17 years. Today, the average golden retriever lives 9 to 11 years. And there is no table food. They feed them that dry dog food that's been heated up to the level that there's no nutrition. Dogs are running around scratching themselves, being super inflamed. The vets are making ridiculous amounts of money. It's robbery. They don't fix your animal's issue unless there's a surgery involved, and then it's just a quick fix. So this is the system of sick care we live in. And I'm glad that I brought up our pets, because then you can get out of the cognitive dissonance to think, oh, something other than a human. Let's witness the veterinary system, which is the same pharmaceutical-based system. Did you know human pharmaceuticals work the same way on dogs as they do humans? Okay, there you have it. There, you should be able to witness what I just said. You love your dog? Witness what's going on around it. You love yourself? Witness what the system's doing to you. So crazy. And so why treating systems oftentimes makes everything worse. This is a great topic. Suppressing symptoms, suppressing symptoms is like cutting the fire alarm wire instead of putting out the fire. So, like if I were to give you drugs to suppress your pain, is that going to help in the long run? It's going to make the problem worse. Let me give you an instance. Me, myself, my parents had good insurance. My mom was given so many surgeries, I'm about ready to blow up. My parents had good insurance, so anytime there was an issue, it was not fixing the symptom or the situation. It was right back to surgery. The doctor would be like, oh, maybe we didn't need to do that surgery. And so when I broke my neck in collegiate sports, I refused a surgery. They thought I was crazy, that I wouldn't live to 30 years old. I would die because of the stress, anxiety. And so I was on pain pills. I quit after 1 year of pain medication because I almost died from the drugs they gave me. Every time I was taking the drugs, not only was I becoming more addicted, I was depending on that pain relief, but I was depending on the drug effect, and I was being addicted to the drug effect. However, it was damaging what was already damaged, because I was moving around like I didn't have a broken neck, so all I was doing was injuring my neck even more, not listening to the pain. And when I quit cold turkey, it took chronic pain, and it took a lot of just understanding. It took a lot of specialists to look at it. And the cool thing is, I'm here in front of you today because I took my health in my own hands. Here I am, over 27 years later after I broke my neck. Look what I can do. I'm much older now. How can I do that and I never got the surgery? Thank God I never got the surgery. I'm not recommending that you do it, but I learned this hundreds of technologies. That's why I'm the leader in the world in health technology today. It's because I put my health in my own hands, and I realized a long time ago that this situation happened to me. I was going to die with that type of understanding of the body. So I had to relearn everything. I had to start at the basis of the truth. And once I realized this, I realized a long time ago, my mistrust in the current healthcare system was due to my understanding of human behavior. My understanding of human behavior was to look at my mother, to look at what they're doing to her, and realizing it's not okay. I took that same understanding with myself, and I said, it's just not okay. It's not a system that works. So why should I do it? Eventually, yes, my physical body will die someday. But if I would have took that surgery, I would have probably been on my third or fourth surgery by now. I would have lived with a lot more pain than I do. I live with very little pain, if any. And we just realized that, man, I'm not speaking, anti-medicine. I'm in regards to anti-ignorance. And if you believe in anti-ignorance and you don't believe you're ignorant and you still follow what everyone tells you to follow, that's on you. You're a human being. You're a rational human being. You can solve complex problems, good or bad, knowing the pros and cons and researching yourself. And that's what I'm telling you to do today. Research the stuff I tell you yourself. You may go down a rabbit hole, but realize I'm here for you. Our team is here for you. And guess what? Our AI is here for you. We have the most advanced healthcare AI in the world. How did I do it? How did I win so many awards? How did I create this AI? It's the passion I have to help people, to remove the human suffering, to end the human suffering from the systems that treat you like a symptom and treat you like a machine. Last I checked, I'm a human. I'm a free human. I get to research, I get to look up, I get to explore this human body, my body. I'm not doing anyone any problems. I get to research as in-depth as I need to find solutions. I've been a solution guy my whole life. Fits me pretty good. And guess what? I grew up around the people that thought they were so smart. I grew up around the people that said, you know what the problem is? Everyone thought they were so smart. You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is this. You know what the problem is this. Did you do anything to solve that problem? Or are you just a robot? Yeah, when something becomes important, you stop saying that. You stop saying what the problem is. It's obvious. You're not that smart. It's the people that find solutions. And if it means something to you, which your body should, your health should mean something to you. And if it does, you should honestly take a deep dive. And if it's someone you love, don't look for an expert. Look for an expert, get their advice. Fine. But realize there is so much more that we know, including with our AI, that we are, if this was a race, everyone knows what race it is. Let's say the racetrack. Let's say we're on a racetrack. Let's say we're racing toward the finish line. A couple people have lapped everyone 50 laps on a 100-lap race. Most people are on lap 50, we already finished the race. That's how far ahead we are. Okay, just to put it in perspective. If you haven't found out the body is electric, you're about 70 laps behind already. It's not your fault. It's the programming and propaganda to make you believe that someone else has a better solution, which this is innate intelligence. We're biological. We're not a computer. We've been told lies. That's why they changed our food pyramid, because the food pyramid was giving people disease. The change in the food pyramid recently, this is 2026, the change in the food pyramid is going to stop the majority of insulin issues. It's going to stop the majority of diabetes, which is just its own pandemic. So the priority of the body prioritizes survival, protection, compensation, and performance. You don't fix health by forcing it how to function. You restore it by restoring the safety, giving it the proper nutrition, giving it the proper rest, going after the simple understandings. Not by putting a placebo in your body made of petroleum. It's very scary. But healing actually starts. Healing begins when your inflammation and your heat in your body reduce. The oxygenation in the body increases. The nervous system changes from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic, relaxed system. Drainage and lymphatic opens up, and the disassociation, the inference, gets removed. And before that, it's just the reflection on this segment. I like to bring it full circle. This is quite a talk we've had today. I'm covering some major topics, and realize I like to reflect on a couple things. When did symptoms first appear? What stressors were present? What was the body trying to protect? But your body, realize, what it's always trying to do is save you. These are not things like a fever. A fever is not something to betray you. A fever is letting you know something's happening. pain, which I tell the people around me all the time, I tell people all the time, you have lost your sense of pain. You have severe pain, but somehow you're able to disassociate that pain, and you live with an insane amount of pain. You're going to break one of these days if you don't start realizing that you have pain and that you need to do something about it. This is where the people that consider going to the auto body shop to fix the problem, you want to be proactive. If you feel pain, you need to be proactive right now. Because by the time this pain turns into something greater, you may have leukemia, cancer. So it is at that level. If you want to just give your money to Big Pharma from the day you're born to the day you die, I think that's basically the agenda anyways. That's you. That's your own personal authority. But what I offer is something that can really change people's lives. Live and age gracefully. Live without the pain. Understand the problem at the source of the issue. And not be the one that just symptomizes pain. That's how they create drug addicts. If you're just symptomizing pain, you're just taking drugs, you're disassociating yourself. Before you know it, you're an addict. Okay, so we can get down so many different topics today, but that understanding of symptom is creating addiction. Because you're never solving the problem, you're masking it. And so addiction is very much the same. We cover mental health. We'll cover it on another podcast. And in closing, if your body were truly broken, you wouldn't be alive. You're talking to someone that used to tell people, I was broken. I broke my neck. It made me break emotionally. It made me break intelligently. It made me break physically. And I had to go to the other side of all this. But if it wasn't for that innate wisdom of just realizing I had pain and treat my body as if I had to alleviate and change this pain, I wouldn't have got here today, and I wouldn't be in front of you, and I wouldn't be an advocate, and I wouldn't have been changing the world. I wouldn't have created 100 technologies. I wouldn't be here intimately with you right now. I wouldn't have done all this stuff. And so your pain becomes your purpose. These symptoms we talk about, let's realize that you are not your disease. Let's realize that we can break this down, utilize our AI. And what I'm going to offer you before we close is it's a $500 value. If you want us to charge it, fine. But just to break the skeptics, it's my favorite thing to do. It truly is. Because I've been helping people for such a long time. I've already been proven skeptics wrong for 20 years. But the cool thing is, when you're brand new to me and you just learned out who I am, I'd love to prove you right. That, yeah, the system of healthcare has already changed. The system of healthcare was a lie, most of it, to begin with. It started out with good intentions and it became a money-making machine. But the true reality, there was thousands, if hundreds of thousands of holistic healthcare practitioners that had a lot of the innate knowledge, but they were missing something called frequency. And if you ask Albert Einstein, the future of medicine is the medicine of frequencies. If you ask Nikola Tesla what the future looked like, if you want to know the secrets to this universe and yourself, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. Our bioscanning technology already knows you holographically. From the time you put a DNA into our system or the time you do a live holographic scan, we know exactly everything that's going on from a physiological standpoint. The gloves are off. Basically from there, the AI spits everything out on a silver platter. Over 50,000 points of data. No medical doctor can even remember a couple. And you have the ability to speak to our AI. You have the ability to talk to the most advanced health technology on the earth in conversation. You get the real truth. How to fix your physiology. We've already ended chronic disease. You just haven't realized it because they're not going to put me on a mainstream TV. Actually, they've tried, and I was so truthful, so accurate, and had so much evidence that they wouldn't put, that even though they filmed me for mainstream media, they wouldn't put me live. I've been censored for over 10 years. And like I said at the beginning, tens of thousands of people can vouch I saved their life. So what we can all realize is the moment we stop fighting our body, it starts to work for you. When you realize what symptoms truly are, you'll get to the place where these are little things that I should look into. These are not something to mask. So there we have it. This is John Baxter with the Baxter Effect podcast, coming to you live and intimate today to cover something so important that share, like, comment this amazing thing. And like I said, if you join today's podcast and you hear them all the way out to the end, we're going to give you a $500 value, free AI analysis and assessment. We're going to take a couple hair and nail clippings. We're going to put it in our DNA holographic machine to tell you exactly what's going on. You get this for free. Free AI analysis. Reach us at info@antiagingbed.com. Call us at 800-385-4243. Get your live scan, free scan today, and you would be able to speak to our own AI. Ask it any question. We have already ended the understanding of what chronic disease is. We have advanced technologies. We have a whole wellness center, which we call our longevity circuit, compiling all the data. We're a data-driven, science-based company that actually will give you your data and your data for free. Thank you once again, and until next time, thank you for joining the Baxter Effect podcast.